Hey guys, Josh here. Yeah, it has been quite a while. I've been, pretty busy. I think you guys have probably already seen the videos from Jamaica when I went on my honeymoon. The wife and I have been remodeling the house a lot. We started taking Krav Maga stuff, so we haven't, I haven't had time really to do much free stuff at all, especially play video games. So at this point in time, I'm going to kind of give up that whole video game thing on my channel and want to take my channel to a different direction. I've known for a while that I like building stuff, but the more and more we've been remodeling the house, the more and more I realize how much I truly love doing it. So I figure, why not just do some DIY projects? Let's just create some things. I can show you guys what I'm doing, give you some ideas, let you go out and create your own stuff. Because the reality of the situation is, you can go buy things that you want for yourself or as gifts for other people, but the thing is, so can anybody else out there. When you actually create something yourself, it gives you a sense of satisfaction, and it means that, you're the only one that has whatever it is that you're making. And that's pretty damn cool if you ask me. And especially when you got a good story. If someone comes to your house and says, "Hey, where'd you get that?" and you say, "I made that." There's nothing more satisfying than being able to say that. So what we're going to do on this project on this lovely North Carolina spring day, it's been raining for like 3 days straight. I'm sick of it. What we're going to do is, actually my 1 year anniversary, wedding anniversary is coming up, and me and my wife decided to make each other our own gifts. And apparently there's like some sort of tradition thing or something. There's a theme, and apparently paper is the theme for the first year anniversary. So whatever. So what I've decided is I'm going to make her something out of wood, because paper is made out of wood. So essentially we're making some paper something, whatever. We're going to use some wood. And actually what I'm going to make her is I guess you would call it like a lamp thing that you put over a tea candle. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually making this with the intention of using an LED tea candle. No open flame, none of that stuff. I don't want, the way I'm making it, you cannot put it over an open flame. It will more than likely combust and burn your house down, or make you poop your pants at least. So LED candle, if you want to do it to use some sort of actual flame candle, modify it at your own discretion, but this strictly for LEDs. So what we're going to need for this project is a table saw, a chop saw, miter saw, whatever you want to call it, drill, jigsaw, saber saw, whatever you want to call it, a router, I'm going to be using a 1/4-inch rabbit bit in my router. You can use whatever size you want to make a bigger router or anything. And of course your eyes and ears. When it comes to your vision and your hearing, when they go, there is no getting them back, especially hearing. You destroy your ears, there's no fixing it. You can get hearing aids, or you can just walk around and go, huh, all your life. Just cover your eyes, cover your ears. It's totally worth it. Don't worry about anything else. Also, I'm going to be using air compressor and a brad nailer. Ideally, I would use a pin nailer for this because it's a smaller hole to fill, but a brad nailer works just fine. And use some sandpaper, glue, wax paper, a couple drill bits, a just normal drill bit of a size large enough that you can drill a hole and fit your jigsaw blade into, and also a circular boring bit, a hole saw, I should say, so we can make it out to fit the tea candle underneath it. And the wood I'm using is actually, it's not this piece, it's actually that piece down there, but I'm using a 1x8 by 8 foot long piece of poplar. And the cool thing about poplar is it's nice and hard, but it also has this really cool pretty grain color. So this one is from a previous project. If you just look at here, I was just planning this out in my head. That's what these markings are. We're not going to be using this piece really. I may use it for a little bit of something, but we're going to be using that 8 foot piece. And really we're only going to be using about 4 feet of it, so I'll have the other 4 feet to go along with the next project, which is really good. So all said and told, this project's going to cost, if you count that full 8 foot sheet, it'll be about $30. If you cut it in half, the 8 foot sheet, we'll get this whole project done for about $20, and as long as you have your tools and everything, and it'll be a one-off design that only you will have. So you can go spend $20 on something everyone else can have. You can spend $20 and a little bit of your free time and actually create something. So that's what we're going with today. So let's go ahead and clear all this crap out of the way. We'll cut this board in half and start using it. And oh yeah, if you're like me, your wood shop is also your auto shop, which is also your gym, which is also your garage in your house. So at some point in time, when I get some money, I'm actually going to build a wood shop in the back, and I can actually take you guys through that, and we'll see. And right now I'm using my GoPro, obviously, give you a first-person look. I don't know how this video is going to turn out. If it turns out great, I can stick doing this, but I may just have to get like a different camera and just have, have it on a tripod, just filming me working. So we'll see what works. I may use a combination of two, but we'll just roll with this one, see how it turns out, and we'll go with it. All right, let's clear the stuff out and start building. If you guys don't know how to use any of this equipment or anything like that, let me know, and I can actually make a little how-to video of how to use each individual saw. I mean, if you sit here and watch me, it's pretty easy to figure out what you're doing. So, all right. So first and foremost, let's mark this thing at 4 feet. Actually, let's cut it a little bit longer than 4 feet, because I want each individual piece. This is going to be 4 sections, 4 sides, and I want each side to be a foot. So the blade width is about 1/8 inch. So we'll just put it at 4'1" for right now. So when we're going through and trimming them all up, they'll all be the exact same size. We'll just have a little sliver of a piece left over. So move that out of the way. Get my speed square wherever I put that. There it is. And speed squares are really cool if you guys haven't ever seen this. If you look at it, you can measure it off here, and it also comes with built-in degrees. This is for laying out roofing, if you want to figure out what the rise and run is of your roof is. And also here's your angles. So if you were just taking your pivot point right here, pivot around, you want to cut this at a 45-degree angle. This is a 45 here instantly. You want to cut at a 30-degree, you rotate. So it's on the 30-degree mark right there. Cut this down, and your board's now at a 30-degree angle. So speed squares are one of the best construction things to have. They really save a lot of time figuring everything out. So make sure, they're only like $5. Just get one if you plan on doing any work at all, building stuff. You want to have a speed square. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna line the blade up here, and this is only a 10-inch chop saw. I wish I had like one of those 12-inch sliding radial arm saws. It'd make it much easier, so I wouldn't have to flip this board over. You can just pull it out, cut down, push back. So, but since we've got such a small blade, I gotta do one pass, flip the board over, and cut down on that same line again. So let's get all our safety up, and we'll get on this. Always make sure you keep your hands away from the saw blade. As you can see, that took a little bit of time. Poplar is a pretty dense wood, so it's going to hold up well. And also, too, I've been using this blade to put in about 1,000 square feet of ash hardwood flooring in my house. So the blade itself is a little bit worn out, but I don't feel like changing it. We'll roll with this. We'll be good. So let's finish this cut over, and then we'll use this piece over here. This side's going to be in. And mark that. So let's come up and mark this at a foot. Now I'm going to line the blade up so that this left side of the blade kisses this line here, because I want to just to barely nick that line as we're cutting. So I'm going to cut this one with my right hand, and then I'm going to switch over so I can hold on to this piece on the next one so it doesn't fall again. about this much. This will be like a nice little 90-degree tick here, and it will hide any other imperfections. And, you know, there's already too many things with perfectly sharp edges out there. Just want to do this. Okay, so you can see here, this is going to go away, this is going to go away. This is going to be the inside, so we're going to have a line. So right here is where the inside is going to end. What I'm wanting to do is I want to cut out the center here, and then we're going to rabbet in, because we're going to cut a design in and glue it in from the back side, so there's going to be a recess here with the design where the light's going to come through it. So what we have to worry about is we want to give ourselves enough room from this outside edge to go over to cut in that will have enough room to rabbet back and fit the boards in when we put it together. Because we don't want to cut it like this, try and rabbet it back, and then it's hanging all over here, then we can't put the thing together. So we got a 1/4 inch rabbet blade. So if we come and cut in an 1.5 inches, no, 1.25 inches on the front side, that'll give, once we run our rabbet through it, it'll give 3/8 of an inch from this cut edge to where the board will actually slide in, so that's perfect. So we're going to go 1.25 inches. So on the front side here, we're going to mark down 1.25 inches. And on this side, 1.25 inches. Do it here again. Inch and a quarter. Inch and a quarter. And this is just to help so it can line the lines up. Because now that we know we got a square board, we can just put the speed score on it, line it up, and run away with it. So, bam. Now with a jigsaw, you don't need to drill in all 4 corners. You know, if the blade is small enough, the whole idea behind saws is they can run around curves and stuff. I'm just going to do this just to make my life a little easier. So I'm going to take jigsaw in and follow the line. So that's decently straight. Come back here, finish this cut. So you get the idea. So now we just got to cut line, line, line on all 4 of them. So I'll stop you here. I'll get back to you when that's all done. Alright guys, so we got all the centers cut out of here. Don't put your jigsaw away yet. We will be needing that in a little bit, and that'll be when it starts getting a little tricky. like this already hadn't been a hassle already. So what we got to do now is just sand these down nice. All right, got these edges all nice and sanded up. So next thing we're going to do is going to route in here. Then we'll cut it back at the 45, and then we'll worry about making little things to fill in there. First, it's lunchtime, and I need to charge this GoPro back up. All right, so what we did now is I made just a little kind of jig to hold these pieces down from the centers that we actually cut out of these pieces. And this way will allow it to not move around when I run a route through, because we've got to put a rabbet on the inside of all 4 of these. And then we'll also use the table saw again to cut a rabbet on the top and bottom here, but we can do that later. So let's do this real quick. Alright, so I just put a nice little rabbet in there, and you can do 2 things with it. When we go to actually make the interior piece, we can just cut it out of 45 so it sits in there, or we can actually take a chisel and chisel this back. I don't know what I'm feeling like doing. I think I'll probably chisel it back, but let's route these other ones first real quick. Alright, now what we want to do is, like I was telling you earlier about ripping the 45-degree angle through here. So, raise the blade up. Lock it. Lock. Rotate to 45. Rotate it. Lock it down. So now to get what we want here, we'll just have to look at the edge of the blade. Kind of line it up. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing there. So let's tighten this down. Yeah, gotta get it lined up better. I had it bind. Alright, so now what I'm doing is we're going to be making the little insert inside here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this. I got the inside edge lined up on the bottom corner of this spare board that I had. I'll use this one since it was laying around. You can use the other board that you already bought. I'm using this one. So alright. So that right there will be the outside edge of what it is that we can use. I can erase all that later. Sand that out. Let's use, yeah, I'll use the same one here. So yeah, lined up, lined up. All right. So this is where it comes up. Told you this is where it gets difficult. It gets pretty artistic. My wife loves dragonflies, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some dragonflies on here, cut around it, and then we're going to try and split this in half using the table saw, and so we'll have mirror images on either side. So. And this is totally up to you. You don't have, obviously, you don't do dragonflies. Do whatever you want, fish or flowers, whatever. I don't care. Just do whatever it is that you feel you would like. So, but first and foremost, we got to space out at least 1/4 of an inch from this line. So we'll go half, half. Half, and half. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure I don't put the design too far back, because right here will be where it will hang over, so I'm going to keep everything within a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch from that, so it's going to have depth to it. I don't want it just kind of running over halfway underneath the frame itself. So half inch, half inch, half inch. Use a better straight edge. There, a level. Use that. So just kind of line it up by eye, because we're freehanding this, man. We are freehanding. Alright, so dragonflies, let's see, so we'll need the hold itself here. Let's get rid of this one. So where's this light? Just that one. See if we can't get that out. That goes, this goes, that goes. Alright, so we gotta obviously drill some pilot holes everywhere we need to cut through, and give it a whirl. Alright, got all the pilot holes drilled. We gotta get these little things first, so we make sure we don't break anything off. So let's hit these first real quick. You guys will notice I got a fairly skinny blade on here. That's so we can take turns really tight. So best way to do this now is just start hitting the big stuff. Alright, let's see how it works. Alright guys, we are back. Ran out of time the other day, didn't get to finish this project up, so hopefully we're going to have enough time today to finish this before the wife gets home, so it doesn't ruin a surprise. And as you can see, it's a much nicer day. So last thing we let off, we just carved all of these dragonflies in here using the saber saw, which if you actually have access to a Dremel tool, I would think that would be a much better option, because this is slightly difficult. So try taking out as much of the big things as possible, and we'll do some touch-up sanding again in a little bit. But what we're going to do now is cut along here, rip this out, and then cut out these two sections, and then it's going to get pretty challenging. You're going to have to stand this on end and try and rip these pieces in half so we have mirror images. So we shall see how that goes. Hopefully it goes well. Don't need the blade too high. All right. Alright, so now we'll just cut it this way. We'll cross cut, we'll still use the fence. Don't ever cross cut with the fence, whatever, we're going to do it. So, line that up, cut it. The secret to cross-cutting using the fence is make sure you push solely with the hand that is up against the fence. You don't want to ever push this outside hand. You'll bind up on the blade, get a kickback, you can lose a finger or something. So you always push the hand that is up against the fence. That's what you push with. All this hand does is stabilize and keeps the wood from falling. Little tip for you. One more cut here. And also too, I should mention earlier, when using table saw, do not stand directly behind the blade if at all possible. You want to stand out of the side of the way in case you get a kickback. You don't want to come hit you right in the dong. Nobody wants that. Okay. Let's see if this will work here. one of our backs here, see if that's enough to fit. So, perfect. So as you can see, this is what it'll look like from the front side. So, here you go. And we're going to rip this in half now, so this is kind of flush in the back. And we'll just position this where we want. We'll put some wax paper behind this, and then glue it all together, nail it up, and be able to light it up, and it'll just be a lantern glowing. So, oh, the tricky part, the tricky part, the tricky part. Okay, so what we need to do is rip this in half here. I don't know if you can see this. But the problem we're going to have is that these halves are going to be pretty close to the same size as this. So we don't want it to slide down in there and get caught in the blade. So what we got to do first is line this fence up halfway. As best as we can guess what halfway is. Okay. So we want to kind of conceal this gap until all we really have is just the width of the blade poking through. So luckily we have plenty of scrap around here. We're going to turn the saw on, we're going to raise the blade up, cut back and forth. We're going to cut here, and then cut back and make sure we have enough room for the blade. Keep your fingers away from the blade. So what we have just managed to do is create a space to where only the blade posterior, you don't have to worry about those pieces sliding down. So I need to go about halfway through, so this is what I worry about. Wish me luck. What you want to do is take the way you had it. So what we want to do is try and avoid, in case your blade wasn't exactly centered, you want to take your board exactly here, flip it over that way, so you're cutting on the same plane in case, you know, one side happened to be a little wider. So let's finish this up. Alright, one down, one more to go. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to notch here, here, and here for the top and bottom. And what we got to do is we got the fence set up just so it's the distance of what the board's going to be once cut in half, because we're going to do the same thing we did up there earlier. We're just going to do a pass and pass on either side, and then we'll turn it up on its end and take the rest of the notch out along the fence. Now we're going to adjust the blade down so that it only cuts as much as we need it to. Blade's a good height. Now slide the fence over. Line it up. Lock it down. Now we can notch. And now we get everything all sanded up and all cut up. What we're going to do is glue the inserts into the actual frame. So I got my wood glue, I got a little flux brush over here for piping and stuff, but this works just fine. It's going to get glue that isn't dried out, hopefully. Alright, let's take and put the glue in these little corners here a little bit. We don't need a ton of glue. It'll just be more to clean up later. Just a little bit of glue in here. Take our brush, kind of spread this glob around because that'll just turn out to be a headache. Spread it around, spread it around. And this is why we have the white paper towel, because just wipe out that glue. As long as the glue's still wet, you can use water to it. It comes right up while you're soluble. It's good. So now we'll take our insert. Make sure you put the side out you want out. Drop it in. Get a position in there. And there you go. Kind of make a really wet rag. Get up that excess glue as much as possible. You do not need all that there. Turn it back over. Get a little bit of weight to set on it. Alright, show you what we're going to be using to finish this. We're going to use some boiled linseed oil. Cool stuff about this is it's natural. They obviously just take linseeds or whatever the hell that is. Boil it up, you get this really cool oil. And what it does is you just take a rag or use old sock and you rub it onto the boards, and it soaks into the boards and it gives us this nice kind of rich wet look for a good while, and then just gives it kind of like a cool shine. It's hard to explain. You'll have to see it when I rub it on. But we're not going to do it the inside of it. We're not going to do these edges or anything like that. We're just going to do on the outside and kind of the inside here without trying to get it on the back side, because we need to be able to glue the paper to the back of this. So these things are probably pretty much glued in there. Glue does not take a long time to dry when it comes to wood and stuff. So that's really good. So yep, we're glued in. So we'll move this stuff out the way. Okay, now you can see the beauty of linseed oil here. You take it, get the rag wet, set a little bit right there. So now wash this corner up here where we first hit it. See that shine? Linseed oil is fantastic. When you use it on cedar, like white cedar, oh my god, it's gorgeous. See that? You see the difference right there. It's beautiful. to dock some water here when done on this piece. So. You don't want to load this up too much because you don't want to just run it all over the place, but you want to have enough on there that it soaks into everything. Actually, need to get some Q-tips, make this a little easier in the corners, and my dog some water. Be right back. Alright, I just put some gloves on, not because linseed oil is bad for you, just because I don't want to get it all over my GoPro. So, getting these corners here. And you can do more than one coat if you want to. I've made shelves and just like a tray for just the center of a table using cedar, and I've put on a couple coats of linseed oil, and it's awesome. All I'm going to worry about on this is just one coat. One coat would be plenty fine. You're mostly going to be seeing this thing kind of at night anyways, because the whole intention is to have a tea light on inside of it. And obviously you'll be able to see the tea light better at night. And you see together, oiled up, not oiled. So you can see the difference that it makes, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And we're just going to let this soak in here. It doesn't really dry as much as it soaks in. Let it all soak in nicely, then we will move on to attaching the wax paper to the back. Alright, this seems to be pretty much mostly dry, so now we're going to take the wax paper and glue it to the back of these. Hopefully this works well. I'm just taking a shot in the dark here, I have no idea. We got contact cement though, wax paper, and we want to make sure that we do not get the contact cement anywhere to that runs onto the other side. I don't know how easy this is to clean up. It's water resistant, so you can't. So don't do it. Alright. So we need some pieces. I probably want to turn on that way, then we can smooth it out a little bit better if it's not all rolled up. So let's try this. Fingers crossed. Holy crap. It looks like what I have to do is bits and pieces at a time. Get that shit on my shoe. Alright guys, all of our wax paper is glued into the back there. You can kind of see what it's going to look like now. I got two corners kind of sitting together. And what we're going to do now is put glue down the corner seam, and we're going to take a couple of brads and just... And the glue is what's going to actually hold together. The brads are just going to keep it together while it's drying. So we'll do that, brad it, we'll move it around. I'm sure it's going to have to be adjusted to get it all nice and square. And then all be left to do is to cut out the top and bottom, drill a hole in it, put some more wax paper on top, linseed oil it, and glue it down, and it'll be done. So here we go. Let's finish this project up. And as you can see here, we did the two different designs. So we have this one, and we cut it in half. What you want to make sure is that when you put this together, you do not put the two same pieces beside each other. So the opposite of this will be on the opposite side, the opposite of this one will be on the opposite side of that. So just make sure you keep that in mind when you're gluing it all together. So, all right. I'll get it kind of held in place the best we can. This is going to be a little tricky. And by little, I mean it's going to be a lot tricky. It'd be a little better if I had corner clamps, which I don't. So we just get to wing it. Everyone loves winging. That's the best way to do this. I need something heavy that is square. Again, good old trusty Jim here in my workshop. There we go. That helped me kind of lock this down, so I'll take this. Check the outlet pressure on my... Outlet pressure is good. Just because I didn't have good pressure on that. So let's try this one. Hopefully get it tighter. There we go. Driven that a little bit better. I'm just using 5/8 brads here. Don't need anything massive for this, so we'll have to sink that in later once it's all nice and glued up and solid. So this one will go here. Alright, slide this piece in here. Ooh, don't want to put that one upside down. Here. So get this side lined up first. We want to go through this side so we come all on the same side. Alright, and our lantern is together. It's more or less square on top. This one piece got a little small, but it's livable. So there we go. I think this one's too small. That's crap. Yep, okay. So what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to take the extra piece we have here. I'm going to cut out a block for here. I'm going to mark an X, drill a circle in the center. I'm going to take that block, run it through, split it halfway just like we did last time. So you guys don't need to see that. I need to charge the GoPro anyways, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Alright guys, that's it right there, finished. I will load a picture up later on, I guess, of this with the actual light in it. I'll probably just put it up there in like that corner. You see my finger? That corner. Yeah, so this is it. It just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I mean, you know, it's not perfect, but that's fine. It's handmade. It's something you're not going to find in the store, and let's face it, this is a garage. This isn't a wood shop. So, but I'm sure you make anything by hand for anyone that like means anything to you, and they'll appreciate the hell of it. So, with that being said, I think it is time for a new sign-off. So, let's go with... Oh, before that, actually, if you guys decide to like build something like this, shoot me a picture of it. I'd love to see what you guys actually come up with, what designs you want to do, or anything like this. Or if you just have any projects you want to share, I'll check them out. I love when people make stuff, so just send it to me, and I'd appreciate it. So, sign off. Let's go with, go create something. Thanks for watching.